What is up, guys? Zan from the Zan Madden YouTube channel. In today's video, we are going to be going over 3 different ways to slow down RPO screen calls. I would argue that the most effective way to play defense is to take away the layups that exist on offense.
I don't want them to gain another yard.
Now, of course, we talk about how to defend corner routes all the time here on the channel. That is such an easy way to move the ball downfield. And if you can take that away, most players tend to fall back into checkdowns to the running back and or RPO plays. So we need to know the different adjustments that we can make to stop varying types of screens. The most effective of which is definitely RPO bubble screens. So I'm going to show you guys 3 adjustments that you guys can utilize against these. Now, this will work against your bunch style RPOs. This will work against spread out trips or under center stretch alert RPOs that you guys might face online. So let's go ahead and get started with the easiest adjustment that you will want to utilize, which is off man coverage.
Say what?
Yes, off man coverage. The reason that you want to run man coverage that is off of the line of scrimmage is that, one, when you press up, it makes the job of the blockers much easier. The other thing that a lot of players don't know is that when you have man-to-man coverage, you have one unblocked player associated with the receiver who is receiving the ball. The other 2 players that are manned up on the blockers will eat those blocks, which gives us an advantage in the numbers. So even in a situation where, let's say I just wanted to base a line and play off coverage here, you see right here, we got ourselves a bad situation where it's now 2-on-3. This is easy blocking. However, let's say for whatever reason, we have a base line look where our player is hanging out inside. This is absolutely fine as well. The one thing you will need to be careful though is the tackle box. And we'll get into that here in just a minute with a different adjustment, but kind of a spoiler, you don't want your guy hanging out in the area where he can be impacted by the actual run call. He can fall susceptible to the play fake, which will leave him out of position against the quick throw to the flat. So if you kind of just get him out here outside of where a tight end might be, if you were to imagine a tight end on the right, you should be okay. And what this is going to do is it's going to allow you to have yourself in a situation where if our opponent decides they want to throw this ball immediately, they don't have anybody that can block him. And he's going to swing all the way out in front of everybody and be able to make that play. I'll show this to you again. This time I'm not going to base a line and I'm just going to go ahead and snap this ball. I'm going to throw it out to the flat. You see that there's no one there to block him. This is real simple stuff. A lot of people don't really understand. Just play man coverage on the guy who's receiving the screen pass and make sure he's not pressed up where he's easy to block. Let me show you another example here. Let's say that we're facing the bunch strong meta. A lot of players like to throw RPO read bubble out of the bunch strong nasty or the regular strong offset formation. With this particular look, again, just being an off coverage that's man to man, they will not have the bodies to block this player. So this throw is immediately taken away. As you might imagine, you could do the exact same thing out of zone if you wanted to. Let's say that I was in cover 2. Got this off coverage. We'll just man up the guy that's on the outside. And you'll see here, if they go to throw this right away, there is an unblocked player that is in man-to-man on the player that is receiving the ball. So this is very, very helpful. Let's go ahead and run another setup here, another bubble screen that is pretty effective. This time we're going to go to everyone's favorite run RPO, which is the wing slot stretch alert bubble. If you guys missed our upload last week on this, we did a video dedicated to this. So make sure that you guys subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and also drop a comment below to let me know what you think of this content. If you guys have any requests for defensive content or offensive content, I'll be happy to help you guys out. Let me know in the comment section what you'd like to see here on the channel. So here we are in this example. We're playing standard alignment. We are playing cover 3. But as I mentioned, I'm just going to go ahead and man up the bubble player. Now, again, your proximity to the tackle box is important, but if I go to throw this ball out, you see that that actually does a decent job of kind of being in a spot where it can, you know, kind of make a play. Now, another thing that you guys might do is individually press down on the blocker, but leave off coverage on the bubble player. And you'll see here that that can help significantly because what ends up happening is he'll block the guy directly in front of him, leaving that off man coverage unblocked. It's a pretty sneaky way that you guys can play. In fact, if you wanted to, you could individually press on the X receiver and maybe even play a hard flat. We'll get to that part here in just a second, but kind of the same principle. The difference though is that sometimes those zones get hung out to dry. Again, proximity to the tackle box. We'll get to that here in just a second. Our next adjustment is one that I actually really like to use against trips style RPOs. So your bubble screens out of your trips tight end type offenses or your trio halfback weak type offenses. So what we're going to do here is we're going to activate a 3 safety rule defense. You guys can call defense like big nickel over G. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to choose a play. It could be cover 2, it could be really any shell you want. And we're going to talk about the outside third rule. So what a lot of players don't really know about outside thirds is that EA years ago, when Pete Carroll kind of popularized the Legion of Boom, EA recoded those outside thirds to kind of match the rules that outside thirds play for Pete Carroll in that defense. And essentially what that means is that when you have 2 or more receivers to one side of the field, an outside third player, so let's say that we were playing a cover 3 that looked kind of like this right here. An outside third player actually drops inside and splits the difference between the outside 2 receivers and trips. So we're talking about number 11 and number 13. So he tries to play the midpoint between those 2 routes if you were to imagine them both going vertically. So with this is great because what we're actually going to do with this 3 safety adjustment is we are going to rotate Hooker, who's our outside third player in this coverage. He's going to play that particular role. And then we can go ahead and, change our coverage however we see fit. I'll play something like this. This is essentially cover 3 cloud. And what you're going to notice with this is that this outside third safety will do kind of a role where his first step is going to be outside like this. And then when the ball's thrown, he's going to rally down. And this is really, really good when paired with adjustments such as manning up or playing a hard flat. The other adjustments that we're breaking down in this video just gives you a little extra security in the event that, maybe Curse doesn't do his job or whatever. If you kind of watch right here, and we're not trying to immediately affect the RPO, but you can really limit the productiveness of this because that safety ends up being a downhill player when the ball is thrown, as opposed to a deep half, which is kind of back pedals, or having your outside corner dropping off the line. That's not necessarily great for you either. So as you can imagine with this type of play here, you could actually kind of press down, run an outside third like this, and kind of roll your coverage like this. And what this is going to do is these 2 guys, if we were to zoom out, Curse and Bland, should eat up the bubble blockers, while this guy is going to be much more active to the outside on that throw. We can focus on the RPO to the running back, and if they throw this ball out wide, oh, look at that. He actually blocked down on the outside third, and it freed up our deep half. Funny how that works. So there's a little bit of RPO defense right there for you for defending your trip style RPOs. And that is going to bring us to our final example here for this particular tip, which is going to be off coverage hard flats and the importance of the positioning of those players in the tackle box. If you remember in our first bullet point, we talked about the hard flat. We kind of played a cover 3 defense. But what you noticed was that for some reason, this player kind of gets hung up on that RPO. Sometimes they run the stretch. Right there, he kind of gets blocked right away. There's going to be times where sometimes he sucks inside on the RPO. A lot of this has to do with where this player is. So you'll kind of note when you get this player hanging out in the run fit a little bit, the more inside he is towards the line, the more likely he is to kind of get hung up on the RPO. You see that was a clear example where he flinched to the inside, and that allowed us to get that ball out. Now right there, I intentionally moved him inside to kind of show you the exaggerated effect of that. But as you might imagine, there's a lot of different RPOs in this game. Your opponent might audible into one that maybe shifts your player, whether it's a linebacker or a nickel corner, into a spot where he'll be kind of faked out by the run portion of the run pass option. So it's really, really important that you guys understand that getting conflict defenders out of the run area is paramount to your success with this particular call. Let's go ahead and give you guys a cover 6 here, for example. In this cover 6, when we're lined up like so, we're 3-on-3 to the sideline. This is pretty good. You're gonna see here, I throw this ball, but you see that the inside player was kind of faked out by the RPO. So we lost our numbers count. You see right here, it doesn't look like it should be the case, but you see that that defender that is on the inside that we would traditionally want playing out there kind of got outflanked. Now, fortunately for us, we had a safety that came down and made this play, but really what we're looking for is better activity by the player that is standing over Devontae Smith here on the left side of the field. So how do we do that? Well, there's a couple of different ways. Let's say that I want Clark to make this play. I'm going to put him into a hard flat. You're going to see right here that in this alignment, again, he does a pretty good job. He tried to scrape to the outside. He bumped into his opponent. Understanding what assignment your guy is in is also obviously very key. But you notice that when I put him into a hard flat, that he got really active in this play. And you'll even note that if I were to go as far as to individually back him off, you'll see that he actually flies crazy downhill into this. And of course, you could kind of just go and like sit over here to kind of deter them from running the ball. And if they go to throw this ball, you're going to see that he's completely unblocked and can stop this relatively quickly. In fact, if I wanted to move him a little bit wider outside, that would help as well. But the truth is, a lot of us are not going to sit in this type of look. We're going to get into something that's more base aligned. It kind of looks like this. So this is really where you're going to know that your hard flat action needs to be better. So if I'm kind of rolled up in press, so like if Curse is down here in press alignment, he might be outside of the width of the tackle box, but he might be more easy to block. Now right there, we got lucky, but there's going to be situations where he gets kind of blocked on these, and you don't really want that to occur. And I'll even take it a step further. Remember how I mentioned that if we kind of press down on the blockers, that will kind of change the targeting of things? You might play your hard flat in off alignment and your outside deep zone in press alignment to kind of change how things get blocked. You see how different that looks when you get that combo. So a pressed deep zone with an off coverage hard flat is a great way to handle this. So again, the spacing or the positioning of your hard flats truly matters. Again, in this situation, hard flat, regular alignment, I press on the outside. You might give yourself help over the top if you want to play a half or whatever. You can kind of, again, fuse your coverage however you see fit. Really, at the end of the day, we're trying to get them to really throw the football. We're just trying to take away those RPOs. And you see right here, the only thing that really might get us in trouble is that hard flat might be too close to the line. So if you get that hunch, maybe back him up a little bit. Now, when they go to throw this, look at how this plays. They completely whiff on blocking him, and you're going to be in a spot now where you're going to be able to stop these RPOs all the time and make them hand the ball off. In terms of our box count against the offensive line, they have 6 blockers. We have 6 defenders. So not too bad. We're going to make them throw the ball to the outside where they think that they have a 3-on-2. They really don't have a 3-on-2 because of the way that we've set up our defense. We're able to stay in between those blockers and get a hit in the backfield. So if you guys struggle at all with these RPOs, this is how you guys do it. Off coverage, man coverage, outside third safety rule to get him down involved. And of course, the positioning of your hard flats and maybe even pressing the outside player to disrupt the blockers is going to open up lanes for your zones to flow and make those tackles in space. That is RPO defense in a nutshell in Madden 24, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I know you guys enjoyed today's video. If you made it this far, you're a legend. Thank you so much. Consider subscribing to the channel, hit that notification bell, and check out our YouTube short a little bit later this afternoon. We're going to constantly keep you guys on top of the meta. Until then, this is Zan. Get in the lab and good luck.